Okay, so I called this week's lesson Jamming by Yourself. And that concept of one person and an instrument has always fascinated me. It's not just with guitar, but one person and a piano or a saxophone, or it doesn't matter the instrument. And so I know these are popular for the same reason that I like them. If you're not in a band, which I know a lot of you aren't, and maybe you're not even a singer, but you want to be able to play and perform for other people, these are the types of compositions that are perfect for that, because all you need is a guitar. In this case, you don't even need an electric guitar. You can do this with an acoustic. And you can entertain other people. But what's great about a lesson like this is you're not only learning a composition, but you're also learning the pieces. So I'm going to be talking about all these little licks and scale runs that I do, where they fit in, so that you can use these things, these pieces, these licks, and other things. So it's sort of got, two purposes. So anyway, we're going to go through the first half of what I played in this video. If you'd like to watch the second half, download the tab PDF file, and also access the on-screen tab viewer, which is interactive. It has the video and tab on the screen at the same time. There's no talking, but you can loop sections, you can slow down playback, and all of that. You can get those extra materials for this lesson by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for EP620. Okay, so we're going to be playing a bluegrass style composition in the key of G. And if you're not a fan of bluegrass, you need to follow along anyway. Every time I do a bluegrass lesson, there will always be somebody that goes, "Oh, I'm not a big fan of bluegrass. I'm going to skip this week," or whatever. Don't think that way. I mean, you really need to look at every style, whether it's something you're into or not, as there's always something you can pull from it. So if you're not a bluegrass connoisseur, if you don't listen to bluegrass music, that's okay. There are a lot of these licks that you can steal and use in your blues or country or other styles. So anyway, just kind of think of it that way. A lot of this stuff came from Norman Blake. I'm a huge Norman Blake fan. He's my hero in this space. There's a lot of great bluegrass players. Tony Rice is one, or Brian Sutton's more modern. But to me, Norman Blake has the formula for pure bluegrass guitar, and I just love his style, love the way he sings. He seems very relatable to me, and I like his licks because he repeats himself a lot. When you hear me playing this lick, which I've played in other stuff, blues songs and everything, that came from Norman Blake, and I hear him using that a lot. We'll get into that lick actually in this composition. Okay, so G, C, D, those are the chords we're going to be playing over. We're going to start with a G chord, and the first thing we're going to do goes like this. So all I'm doing is I'm going from the G to the C, and I'm playing this little bass kind of thing with strums in between like this. Now this pattern is very repeatable, so it's like this: down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up with your right hand. So the first thing you want to do is just get that strum pattern down. And actually you could start by just hitting the low 6th string. So make your G chord, and actually this is how I'm making my G chord. It makes it easier to switch to the C. So I'll put my pinky on that 3rd fret 1st string. But the first thing you want to do if you're not familiar with this strum pattern is just play the 6th string down, down, up, down, down, up. Just try and get that. Pretty easy. Take it at whatever tempo is comfortable for you. Do not try and rush this. That's not the idea here. So it's down, down, up, and then watch this. So I'm going to keep my pinky there on that 3rd fret 1st string, and then I'm going to come up to the 5th string and play a little hammer on there, and then I'm going to come up to the 4th string and do another hammer on. Now in between those hammer-ons we have the down-up strum. So when you put it together it goes like this. Right? So just practice that. This is already starting to have that bluegrass kind of vibe. Now what I love about this is we're about to go right into the C chord. Listen to this. So all I did there was I came back to the 5th string and played it with my middle finger on that 2nd fret, and then my ring finger goes down on the 3rd fret 5th string, and look, my fingers can fall into place for the C chord. So I can go and do the start that strum pattern over again. So that was a down, down, those 2 down strokes there for that. So we have this. Now, if you get nothing else, you've got this cool transition to go from a G chord to a C chord with that lick. That may be all some of you want to get from this lesson, and that's totally cool. But there's so much more. And actually, when I went to that C, I didn't just play a C like this. I played a C7 just to blues it up. Listen to this. Hear how that just pulls it into a bluesy direction? So I just put my pinky down on the 3rd fret, 3rd string there. Now watch this little run. This is where it gets cool. What I'm doing there is I'm playing my C7, down, down, up, that same little strum pattern. And then I'm going to come up to the 4th string, do another hammer on, very similar to what we were doing for the G. And there's another up, down, up again. So now watch this. Notice I keep my index finger on that C note there, that 1st fret, 2nd string. My pinky was on that 3rd fret, 3rd string for that flat 7. I played those 2 notes, then I walked it down to the 2nd fret, and then open. So that happens on the 3rd string. And so all together. Now just practice that. Just play your C7. Just keep going with it. Loop it. Because we're going to come back to this C7 several times in this little composition. So once you get this idea, that walking down from 3 to open, that happens several times in this. And I got that one from Norman Blake as well. I'll call out these Norman Blake licks as I play them. Okay, so there's what we have so far. Now we're going to the D, and watch this. This is just a walk down. So all I'm doing is walking down the G major scale. I play my D note, that open 4th string, with a downstroke, and then a down up, following that strum pattern. But notice when I'm playing my D chord, I'm not playing it like this. I have my middle finger off. So I'm actually playing like a D sus2. I'm really not hitting that 1st string, but if I happen to hit it, it would be a D sus2. So it'd be, that's what I was doing. Just hitting strings 4, 3, and 2. Now the reason I didn't use my middle finger is because I'm gonna put it down here on the 3rd fret, 5th string, and walk it down. So we basically started with that D note, and we're just gonna walk it down. 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, all the way back to my G note. And then I can play my G chords. I'm just doing a walk down from the D to the G, like this. And that's another great little takeaway. And some of you already know that, but some of you have probably never played that before. And you hear this in music all the time, going from that D to the G. So now you've got a loopable pattern. That's our first time through. And it's going from the G to the C to the D and back to the G. So you've got something that you can just sit around on the couch. You can play this at any tempo. Real slow sounds good, like this. Walk it down. Now the last time I went, so I did a little ending there, a little fillic. So I play my G, and notice when I'm playing my G here, I didn't mention this. Now I have switched my Gs. Now I started with this G, and I never even realized this until just now as I'm explaining this. I started with this one, but now I'm doing this one, where I've got this D note here with my ring finger. The bluegrassers use this G voicing all the time. This is real common in bluegrass. So when I walk down, notice that these 2 fingers are in place now on that 3rd fret. I just did that by default. So, and then I want, so it's 2nd fret, 4th string, open, 2nd fret, 5th string, and then back to my G chord. So that's the fill lick. And you can use that lick anytime you're playing a G. Just a nice little fill in between the verses or in between the measures. So watch this. Now Now just loop that until you're comfortable with moving on. Now the next phrase we're going to listen to goes like this. So notice what I started with. That's just a walk up. Now that represents my G. This is actually fairly simple to do. It probably sounds complicated when you first heard it, but once you see what's going on, it's very repetitive. What I'm doing is I'm playing, these are some chromatic, it's a chromatic thing. So you're not even thinking about a scale so much. A lot of times you'll hear this in bluegrass, you'll hear little runs like this where you're just playing basically through all the notes, but you're kind of landing on the ones that really count. So you're going like that. So notice I went to the G. So it started with an open E, the open 6th string, and we're just going to walk up 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. The key to this is the right hand in going down, up, down, up. You're going to alternate pick, and this is where the fast playing starts to kick in. And it's exercises like this that can make you a faster player. So you can take this one exercise and just repeat it over and over again, and you'll actually start to get faster just by getting the synchronization between your right and left hand. This is probably the hardest part of this whole thing, is trying to get these little runs. There's a couple of them in here. These are signature Norman Blake style licks. You might also think of Tony Rice when you think of licks like this. But we have that walk up. Open 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go up to the 5th string and play the same thing. Open 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go up to the 4th string and play open 2, 3, 4. So all I did was shift my fingers up, my hand up 1 fret. So now if you put it all together, we have. Now to get us back to the C, which is where we're going, I went like this. So from here, I just walked it backwards, 3, 2, open, and then I came down to the 5th string with my middle finger on the 2nd fret and played 2nd, 3rd. So all together, when you play that whole little G run there, and what I was really doing was I was hitting that G note with a bunch of other stuff in between there. I realized that. And then hitting that C note. I'm landing on the right notes. As long as those notes happen where they're supposed to happen, the rest of it really doesn't matter so much. As long as I'm hitting those target notes. There's my C, right? So the rest of that really didn't matter so much. So just practice that. I know I'm making that look easy because I know how difficult that is to get the timing of that and to be able to do that. Just do it slowly. And remember, start with a downstroke. Right? And then you're at your C. And I'll let you just work on that on your own. Set a metronome if you need to, but just kind of work on down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it can be frustrating, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now, when we come to the C, I played the C7 again and played it like this. So this is the same kind of thing where we go 3, 2, open, 3, 2, open, like we did the first time with the C. It's got a little bit of a shuffle kind of rhythm thing. So I play the 5th string, then the C7, and then watch this. So that's playing just strings 2 and 3 with my middle finger on that 2nd fret 3rd string, and then coming off. So we have, and then I go back to that 5th string, and then play the whole thing again. So all together, if I do it slowly, it goes like this. Watch my right hand. I start with a downstroke. There's an upstroke the second time. Let me do it slowly. So just practice that. It's really fun once you get that rhythm down. That took me a while. I mean, it's pretty simple once I got it. I don't know what the mental block was, but once I got it, I was able to do it. All right, so we have our C7. Then the song would go to the D. And for that D chord, instead of me playing a D chord, I played this lick, which is sort of a classic bluegrass lick. It's got Tony Rice, it's got Norman Blake, but it goes like this. This is sort of a Tony Rice thing. But this, that's a Norman Blake thing. And so here's, let me just show you the lick. And it's alternate pick. There's some pull-offs and things. I'm gonna try and call this stuff out. We're gonna start here on the 3rd fret 2nd string with a downstroke. So we have down, up, and then we go to the 1st fret and play down, up. So we have this. And then we come down to the 2nd fret 3rd string and play. And so now we have, now we're going to go to the 1st fret and do a pull-off like that. So it's, now we're going to come down to the 4th string on the 3rd fret. We're going to do a slide. I know there's pull-offs or slides, but once you can get the cadence of this, it's not as bad. It's going to be bad in the beginning. Just kind of bear with me. Pull-off, slide up to the 4th string, open 3rd string. And then you're going to go to stay on that 3rd string and go 2nd and slide up to the 3rd. So you have, and then watch this. So after that, we're going to play open 3rd string, 2nd fret, open 4th string. So all together, thus far. And then after that, we have that's open 3rd string, 2nd fret 4th string, open 4th string. So now we're gonna go a little hammer on from the 1st fret 5th string to the 2nd fret to that open D string, and then we're gonna do a pull off on that 1st fret down to your G note here on the 3rd fret 6th string. I know it's a lot. And that all represented my D chord going to the G chord. I don't have an easy way to button that one up. I wish I could just put that in a box and say, well, think of this as that and that is this and all of this, but I really don't. It's just a lick that I got a long time ago, and when I play a D chord, and if I'm in bluegrass mode, I have these little things that I do, and this is pulling those things together. Another thing I do is to come up from, you know, that low 6th string up to the 2nd fret, and then, you know, hit your D note there. And once you get the muscle memory down, you can start to use these licks and other things, and you'll find yourself, you know, you won't do it verbatim like this, but you'll do something like that, right? There's all kinds of ways you can use this stuff, but for now, just memorize the lick, work on it. Going from the D to the G using that lick. All right, so let's play through our G, C, and D chord again, but this time we're gonna have some new representatives, some new ideas. So for our G chord, starting back at the G chord, we're gonna start with this. Isn't that cool? I love this lick. Now this one I got directly from Norman Blake, and you'll hear him do this all the time. He uses this lick quite a bit, and it's got so many cool elements to it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with this, and I want you to keep this chord shape in your mind. So we're playing all of this over a G. All of this represents a G. So think about your G chord here using the E shape. And then to sort of connect these licks to that so that you can use this as a reference to get to these licks going forward. All right, so I'm coming up to the 5th fret 1st string with my middle finger, and then the 6th fret 2nd string with my ring finger. And I'm sliding into those two. I think of this as the top part of my G9 chord using this triad, which I've talked about before. Right? This triad here, which is a minor triad. But if I'm just playing strings 1 and 2, that's what I'm getting. So that's where this is coming from, is that G9 chord voicing. So we play that, we slide into it, and then we come down to this. So I've got my ring finger on the 5th fret 2nd string, index finger on the 3rd fret 1st string. Then we slide that down 2 frets. So we have, and then I come down to here, which is like a C chord, just the top part of a C chord, strings 1 and 2. So we have, and then we come down to strings 2 and 3 and go. And what I'm doing there is I'm sliding up to here, which is strings 2 and 3 out of my G chord using the E shape. That's why I said to visualize that E shape, because this really kind of falls around this chord shape. So you can play, so you can slide in, start a half step down, slide into strings 2 and 3, and then play strings 2 and 3 open. And that's going to work because strings 4, 3, and 2 open on your guitar is a G chord, right? Look at your G chord. You can see it in there, right? So when you play it all together, you have. Now the rhythm part of this is the tricky thing, but it's all just alternate strummed with the right hand. So I start with a downstroke. Notice those are upstrokes, right? Downstroke first, then a muted strum, and then we have up, up, up. Then we go down to strings 2 and 3 and do that slide. So when you put it together, you have. Now you can use that lick anytime you've got a G chord in any style of music. It does not have to be bluegrass. You can, for blues, that would work. You might have to change the timing of it a little, but the same notes are going to work. They're going to fall into place and sound great. Then after that, we go to the C chord, and I play that same C. The same thing we did before, so I'm not going to go over that one again. You've got that one. Then the song goes to the D, and I need a representative for my D, and so I ended up coming up here and playing. So all of this is played on strings 2 and 3, and I came up here to the 7th fret and played strings 2 and 3 like that. Now, why would I come there? Remember, we're playing over a D chord, so I'm just visualizing chord shapes. I'm seeing a D chord here using the A shape. Some of you are going, oh, I got it now. Yeah, I can see where that's coming from. It's just in that chord. So I just walk that down, harmonize third. And then we're going to go to my G, right? Strings 2 and 3 out of my G chord. So we have, and then we're going to walk this chromatically down 2 frets. So we have, the only thing different really is the strum pattern, and I use that same strum pattern like I did for the G thing. So I went just down, up, 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 down, up. Let me slow that down. Now that takes some control. If you're new to strumming, I know that that can be tough to try and hit just those middle strings, but you can do that. You can just practice that. This is great rhythm right hand exercise, just to do something like this, to focus on 2 strings like this. So I did that, and then to conclude this, I played this little run that goes. Isn't that cool? And you can use this as a turnaround too. But all I'm doing is playing, that's a triad, and it really represents a G7. But if you look at the shape, it's the exact same shape as your D chord that you learned in first position. If I took that chord and moved it up a set of strings, so now my middle finger's on the 2nd string, and then slid that up a fret and played that, that would be a G7 basically, a G7 triad. And I can take that and walk it down again, and then go take my hand off and play strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Isn't that cool? And that's what I played. I went 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, and then just strum the chord. All right, so that's a lot of information that we've covered. I'm going to wrap up this part 1 video right here. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know if any of these licks have been exciting for you, something new, if they've been a challenge. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. I do read through everything, and that helps me sort of gauge what's working and what people like and what they don't like. And so I hope you walk away with a bunch of new ideas from this that you can apply to your playing. Come join us in part 2 where we'll go over the second half. We've got 2 more times to go through this thing. And remember, as a premium member, you'd have access to the tab PDF file and also the on-screen tab viewer, which has the video and tab on the screen at the same time. All right, we'll see you in the part 2 video.